As I told you that this second half will be discussing sustainability, Cop-27, how we can make our world greener and better. But before we do that, let's talk about quality. As we mark the World Quality Day today, Kenyans have been urged to only consider buying goods that have the standard mark of quality so as to protect themselves from the counterfeit products and sham manufacturers. Speaking at their offices in Nairobi, the CEO of Kenya Bureau of Standards, Bernard Njiraini, has committed to raise more quality awareness and provide support to individuals and organizations for the achievement of the economic prosperity and the adoption of high standards.
From down and up. This is where KEBS gets you. It gets you from the ground and it takes you up. KEBS gets you from the ground and brings you up. Then you bring it up, and now because of quality conscience, down and up. Give a high five to the person sitting next to you. Tell them doing it right, doing the right thing.
We are celebrating the World Quality Day, focusing on quality conscience, doing the right thing. We want to give our advice to both consumers, producers, to pay more attention to quality, because quality is what is going to help you prosper more, produce more efficiently, be able to reduce waste, have more customers. So it is important for you to be able to produce high quality product, because if you look at the cost of poor quality is so high. The best thing that you can do to be able to reach out to more customers, to produce more efficiently, is to pay more attention to quality. And that is what we are creating an awareness to the members of the public to be able to join us in advocating for high quality.
Most of these manufacturers have realized that without quality, your products cannot go anywhere. So it's important that everybody embraces quality, and also our consumers today are more enlightened and they are demanding quality products and quality services. And with that, the manufacturer does not have a choice but to ensure that they are meeting the consumer demand of high quality products and high quality services.
Indeed, even as we mark World Quality Day, ask yourself, am I a quality person? That's a good question to ask yourself, am I a quality person? Anyway, let's move on. With the ongoing United Nations Climate Change Conference, Cop-27, in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt, there is a clarion call on world leaders to fasten action on climate change. How can innovation be utilized to boost sustainability and tackle the effects of climate change? Well, I'm joined by Chetan Ratna, who is the head of prescription East Africa at Schneider Electric. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much.
Starting off, we are seeing drought in this country like we haven't seen before. And we know it's climatic change, missing rainfall. How are you processing all these as people in the innovation space?
So it's a very interesting situation that we are in, and it's all interlinked. Now, when we look at the environment, that's just one part of the entire ecosystem. Environment, sustainability, and governance need to be looked at in together, because we did not have the right space. We overlooked one of the sides, and it causes the environment to be the only thing looked at. But how are we looking at governance? How are we making sure that we avoid deforestation? Like, for example, the Global Forestation report mentioned that in 2021 itself, Kenya lost 7,000 kilo hectares of forestation. So what are the steps that we're taking to go back in, and with individual responsibilities as well? So that's how I process it on my side.
All right.
Then how does the industry come in together and now play the role so that we all move together?
Definitely. So the responsibility is dual. There is the personal responsibility, but there's also the corporate sort of responsibility in tackling this particular issue. But one of the avenues, because there are different, vehicles that we solve this particular issue. Innovation is just one of them.
Correct.
How exactly can we do that? What are some of the examples that we can utilize, innovative ideas to solve climate, situation we have across the world?
Okay, so in that scenario, I'll take an example of Schneider Electric itself. So Schneider Electric has made a commitment for sustainability in 6 key areas. And that's how we move forward. Saying that it's not a short-term thing, it's a long-term goal that we're looking at. I'll give you a few examples, like harness the energy of all generations. We have so much knowledge with our elders. How are we transferring that knowledge to the youth so that the next generation can take over and start growing this further? The other one is having an equal opportunities. Everyone is differently abled to contribute to the society. We need to make that happen. One of the key topics that are being discussed in Cop-27 as well, and Schneider Electric believes firmly in, is localization. Make a local impact. Go to the grassroots and start innovating from there. Understand what are their problems, what are the solutions that we can come around it, and design an entire ecosystem around it.
Definitely, and that do take effort, intentionality, policy shift, looking at where we are. Because I was listening to the president talk at COP27. He's very open to these ideas and transformative ideas. On the sidelines, signing very many deals, but that issue of localizing and finding solutions within. Have we created a good environment to enable that? And are there things that we can improve on to make sure that that happens?
In terms of environment, yes, I would say it's a very good environment. Look at the industry space itself. We have the highest amount of renewable energies in Eastern Africa. And that creates a very good environment for corporates to start coming in, to have knowledge transfer being put in. And as an example is Schneider Electric. We're looking at training and sustainability programs. So we are partnering with local institutions to start passing the knowledge on how innovation, digitization, and electrification is going to lead to a sustainable environment. So this is quite unique. The other thing that as a corporate, what ends up happening is everyone asks, so how are you contributing? How are you putting in money where it's most needed? And this is where now different innovations need to come in.
Okay.
Look at the businesses. At the moment, electrification in Kenya is at 71%. But what happens to the other 29% who are not electrified? How do we create solutions? Now, in the energy sector, you have a lot of solutions with microgrids or solar lanterns. How do we make that sustainable now?
Definitely.
Is the question that needs to come from the grassroots. If we say a corporate will come and solve all the problems or government will solve all the problems, it's not going to happen. We need to start looking at it as individuals and come up with opportunities behind that.
Okay. Parameters, because the questions around climate solutions and creating a sustainable environment comes up during such events. COP27 is happening. We are very vibrant. Then after a couple of weeks, once it's done, everyone is back to, factory setting. In terms of now tracking, tracking and holding people accountable to things that they have said and promised and what they're doing. How exactly do you see that? Are we good at that, or are we big on talk and less on enacting?
I wouldn't say we're only big in talk. The challenge comes is how do you bridge the gap?
Okay.
And one of the main challenges is we say, okay, we will reduce our carbon emission.
Okay.
But what tools do we have in place to measure the amount of carbon that we're emitting? And that's why people go back to factory settings. Because if you end up calculating the whole thing manually on a pen and paper and monitoring that, it's very taxing. So you find people look back into their normal habits. With innovation, this is where now it changes the whole fundamental. Because if we're able to track all this through digital platforms,
yes,
then you are able to account yourselves, create clear KPIs that you can be monitoring every day in the morning. And say, okay, things are going right, so let's continue. Or things are not going right, where did the issue come in? Let's rectify that.
Okay.
On a daily basis, if we have that reminder, then it would definitely make a difference.
Definitely. I'm glad we've had this conversation, Chetan. be big on talk, but also be big on action. Set clear KPIs to track some of the promises that we're making at this time where it's very popular to speak about climate change, but also working on it and offering solutions. Thank you very much for your input. This is a good conversation.
Thank you so much.
All right. Chetan Ratna, head of prescription East Africa for Schneider Electric, saying, do not just talk, yeah? Set clear key performance index and track those. Make sure that you are achieving all these promises that we're making in this Cop-27 era. But I want us to head back into the agricultural world. Veterinary education is a continuous process to sharpen the skills of the practitioners so that they can handle matters of